Good evening. My name is Giovanni, and welcome to Face to Face. Have you ever seen a forest fire start from just a tiny spark? One match, that's all it takes. A careless flicker, and within hours, acres of trees are gone. James 3:5-6 reminds us that our tongues work the same way. Also, the tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great things. How great a forest is set ablaze by such a small fire. And the tongue is a fire, a world of unrighteousness. Our words may be small, but they carry the power to create or destroy. We've seen it over and over. A careless comment, an angry text, a social media post, costing someone their job, their reputation, or even lifelong friendships. Are you ready to tame your tongue? Then let's get into it. Language, or our ability to produce sound and turn those sounds into words that we understand, is one of God's unique gifts to us. Animals can communicate, but only humans, made in God's image, can shape those words to express deep thoughts, to bless, to teach truth, to speak life, to make meaning and co-create. From the very beginning in Genesis, we see how God spoke creation into existence. Jesus himself is called the Word. That means that our words are not just sounds, they are a tool with which we can reflect God's image in us. In our fast-paced, comment-driven culture, we often speak before we think. But Proverbs 13:3 says, "Whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. He who opens wide his lips comes to ruin." James 1:19 takes it a step further. It says, "Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger." God's design for communication starts with listening, not talking. Quick ears, slow lips, and a calm heart are the safeguards that keep our words from becoming weapons. But here's the reality. This is hard. Because the moment we feel misunderstood, ignored, or attacked, we want to lash out. And where does that lashing out come from? Sometimes our words are from a sense of self-defense. You feel attacked and you fire back instantly. I mean, imagine the celebrity, a recent example, who clapped back on Twitter and made headlines for all the wrong reasons. We lash back because we might feel insecure. So we cut others down to lift ourselves up. Think of a student who mocks another classmate online just to get a few laughs and loses friends in the process. We lash out because we're frustrated, we're tired, stressed, or angry, and it spills out. Think of the parent who yells at a referee during a youth game and ends up banned from the stands. Maybe you want to be heard. You think being louder or harsher will get the attention that you desire, but instead it pushes people away. James doesn't give us a pass because keeping our tongue tamed is hard. He calls us to surrender even our speech to the Lordship of Christ. James 3:10-11 says, "Out of the same mouth come blessing and cursing. My brothers, this should not be. Can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring?" Every sentence we speak moves in one of two directions, toward building up or towards tearing down. Ephesians 4:29 says, "Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up." Think of your words like construction equipment. Are you building bridges or burning them? We've seen leaders who use their words to unite nations in crisis, and others who fracture entire communities with divisive rhetoric. There's something also gossip, backbiting, or lying. Gossip is like adding dry leaves to a fire. It makes the flames leap higher. People have lost lifelong friendships because of that. Oh, did you hear that so-and-so? Proverbs 16:28 warns us, a dishonest man spreads strife, and a whisperer separates close friends. We need to be really careful the kinds of rumors that we are spreading about. We shouldn't even spread them about. Oftentimes, even when we know that something is true, it's better for us and for our integrity in our walk with the Lord to keep those things to ourselves and let God deal justly with the situation. There have been many politicians whose careers have been ruined because of a lie they told years earlier, or an employee's false rumor about a coworker that led to the damaged relationships and, in extreme circumstances, to the loss of a job. We must be careful about our tongue. Slander, for example, it's verbal assassination. It damages reputations, careers, families. Scripture warns us repeatedly that God hates a lying tongue and a false witness. Today's slander can look different from what it did back in the ancient world. Now there are bad actors that are actually using AI-generated images or videos to make it look like someone said or did something just to destroy their reputation. These deep fakes can spread online rumors that are often irreversible. Once that slander is out, it is often very hard to take that back, even if the truth comes out later. It's like releasing feathers into the wind. You might gather a few of them, but most of them are gone forever. We know that the world in which we live is very easy to not just spread lies and rumors, but also to write about them, to communicate in some way something that we have heard, that we have seen, that might not be true. These are the kinds of things that we need to be really careful about. What we are witnesses to is a complete erosion of civil discourse. We're living in a time when disagreement often turns to disrespect. Social media threats about politics or faith quickly devolve into name-calling. Public debates aren't about persuading anyone, they're about humiliating the other side. As followers of Christ, we're called to be different, seasoning our words with grace and truth, even when we disagree. Technology has given our tongues a megaphone. With a few keystrokes, we can share a thought, an opinion, or a criticism with thousands instantly. But when we hide behind a screen, we forget there's a real person on the other side. And not just another person on the other side, but we have a God to whom we are accountable for the things we say and the things that we do. Picture a teenager who posts a cruel joke on TikTok. Now they're suspended from school. Or a CEO who tweets something offensive, and then hours later they have to resign. Or maybe a private chat gets leaked. Friendships end, reputations crumble. And in our digital age, false words don't just come from human lips, they can come from computer code. AI tools that fabricate these convincing videos, audio, or images, making it appear someone said or did something they never did. These are false creations that can ignite outrage before the truth even has a chance to be heard. Social media actually rewards speed and outrage. You get the most views when you say something outrageous and quickly. But James reminds us that quick, unguarded words are like sparks, easy to send out, impossible to take back fully. Here's another way that people really get in trouble. And we as Christians need to be really careful about this. And that is using language to imply that others be the ones who do the harm. Think of a person who makes a comment like, they should take care of that person, or that someone should off themselves. We have seen the harm that this language has on other people who are listening. The reason why this is so harmful is because we tell ourselves that because we're not the ones performing the act, then we are not guilty. We perform all kinds of mental gymnastics to tell ourselves that we are okay. But as we know, God is going to hold us as accountable for what we have implied as he did David. Remember, we are as guilty as David was when he sent Bathsheba's husband, if you remember, Uriah the Hittite, to the front lines, hoping that he will get murdered. And he did. And so when Nathan comes to speak to David, he tells him that he killed Uriah, even though he wasn't the one to actually kill him on the battlefield. Because when we imply for other people using our words to do harm, we are guiltier than the person who committed the crime. So let's reflect and be especially careful in this day and age when we can write something and have it go out instantly to others who are very willing to do harm to others. We are called to be salt and light. We are called to uplift. We are called to heal as Christians. Let's be that in our world. The challenge for all of us as Christians is how to show others a different way, the Jesus way, with our words. Our words will either bring honor to him who saved us or disgrace the one who saved us. So here's my challenge to you. You and I have a choice. Will our words be the fire that destroys, or will our words be the fire that warms hearts and brings light? Let's ask God to help us to pause before we speak or type, to listen more than we talk, to choose words that heal others rather than harm, to resist gossip, lying, and slander, to bring respect back to our conversations. Proverbs 17:28 reminds us that there is wisdom in keeping silent. It says, even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is deemed intelligent. Commit to thinking before you speak and continue to ask God to resist giving the enemy a foothold with your words. God bless you tonight. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.